This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Okay, I'm going to call to order the meeting of the Southampton Select Board for June 14th at 6 o'clock. Could we stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. Well, we have a short meeting in terms of some action items in the open meeting here. Let's start with those, and we will be going into an executive session after we cover that. And I just lost my pen. Thank you. So I think the first item we have for action and discussion is departmental transfers. This is the fourth departmental transfer for the end of the fiscal year.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to go through those, Ed, and just...
Sure. The first one's $132.85 from telephone account to the photocopier lease and supplies. Paper has increased this year, so that's why that's will be in deficit. $10,000 from the general highway wages account to the highway superintendent salary account as part of the personal service agreement and this would be for fiscal year 22. $2,281.44 from group health insurance to unemployment compensation for the amount we are in deficit, and we will they will not send us a check, but we will get a credit next year for $1,000. Just to let you know. So Jennifer's going to look at them due to the fraud cases.
So that'll be in next year's, it'll come through next year.
Right. $1,971.44 from the group health insurance account to the street lighting account. Utility costs did go up this year. The street lighting is going to finish in that amount of deficit. And then lastly, $7,000 from police wages to police overtime wages, and this is due to the current staff shortage in the police department.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Any questions, discussions, anyone?
No.
All right. Could I have a motion to approve the departmental transfers?
I move to approve the fourth departmental transfer for fiscal year 2022 in the amount of $21,385.73.
Okay.
A second.
All right. Any discussion? If not, could we have a vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Now, not pertaining to this, but we will get more. There'll be more.
I'll give you as many as you like.
We're hoping we wouldn't have too many more though,
Yes.
right? But we will have some more coming,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
So this is our fourth one, so maybe one or two more at the most?
Yeah, I'm guessing two more. I'll have another one for you for next Tuesday evening.
Okay.
And these all have to be done by the 15th, is that right?
Yes.
July 15th.
July 15th.
And that means that they have to be approved by both the select board and the finance committee by July 15th.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Okay. I just signed one. You just did?
Yeah, I'd like two.
Okay.
That way, when they're finally signed all around, one resides in accounting and one resides in my files also.
Okay, no problem. Okay, I think at the moment we don't have any other business for open time for the public. We do need to go into executive session for a few a few things, and let me read out the reasons why. Per MGL Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigation position of the public body and the chair so declares, Highway Superintendent. Also, MGA Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation, if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body and the chair so declares. Police. Third, MGL Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation, if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body and the chair so declares. Dispatch. And lastly, MGL Chapter 30A, Section 21A7, to comply with or act under the authority of any general or special law or federal granted aid requirements. Approval of executive session meeting minutes, February 8th, 2022. So if I could have a motion to go into executive session, and we will return to open session after we are done.
So moved.
All right, could I have a second? All right, all those in favor, roll call please.
Tishman, aye.
Road 9. Piper aye.
Falls aye. Okay. We will temporarily, oops, let me find my little goodie. We will temporarily stop recording and we will let you know when we come back. Okay, we are reconvened for the Southampton Select Board meeting for June 14th, 2022 at about 7:16. And we have 3 items to report back on. First of all, after our executive session, we have successfully negotiated an agreement between the town of Southampton and Randall Kemp, Highway Superintendent. And this will be a 3-year agreement, retroactive to July 1, 2021, going through June 30th, 2024. Hit a couple of the high points here. The highway superintendent basically has a very busy work week. He's on at least a 40-hour work week and is not eligible to earn overtime or comp time in lieu of overtime for hours worked because he's considered an exempt employee under the Fair Labor Standards Act. The amount of the contract includes the amount of $87,853 as the annual salary for July 1, 21 to June 30th, 2022. So this was retroactive to July 1st. And then subject to appropriations in the outgoing years for July 1, 2022 to June 30th, 2023, the amount will be $97,529. And the final year of the contract from July 1, 23 to June 30th, 2024 is $100,962. The highway superintendent has 25 days of vacation time, 3 days personal time. Is entitled to 5 sick days as adopted by the town's personnel bylaws, and can also roll over 1 week of vacation upon approval of the select board. And the town is making a vehicle available to him that is marked with the town of Southampton or the highway department seal. And the highway superintendent may drive this for personal reasons up to 100 miles radius within the town boundaries for business. I think that's basically the highlights. So that's one contract that we've concluded. So thank you very much, Randall, for that.
Thank you.
Our second one is a memorandum of understanding between the town and the Southampton Emergency Telecommunication Dispatchers. This too is a 3-year contract for fiscal 22, 23, and 24. So again, effective from July 1, 2021 to June 30th, 2024. We've agreed to a variety of terms from shift differentials and holiday time. Juneteenth has been included as a recognized holiday now. Employees who work on Christmas shall be paid double time. Let's see. And let's see. Full-time employees shall be allotted 5 personal days. However, an employee who resigns shall not be entitled to buy back any unused personal time. Overtime rate shall include shift differential, and the shift differential from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. is increased to 90 cents an hour, and 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. increases to $1.20 an hour. So those are the highlights of the dispatch contract, which gets us on board with the dispatch, telecommunication dispatchers. And then finally, the MOU between the town and Southampton police officers. This is a one-year contract followed by a 3-year successor contract. So we have a 1-year contract for 2022, so this would include retroactive pay back to July 1st, adding Juneteenth as a holiday. Officers working the weekend, starting on a Friday at 3:45 and ending Sunday at midnight, would be paid an additional $1 per hour. Employees who are scheduled to work on holidays receive their holiday pay and double time for working on Christmas. We've agreed that we would need to supply officers with a new ballistics vest by the manufacturer's expiration, which may be roughly every 5 years or upon it becoming defective. So that's essentially during this past year. And then a 3-year successor contract will take effect for FY 23, 24, and 25. We've included differentials in here, shift differentials that have gone from $1.10 for the 3:45 p.m. to the midnight shift, and $1.35 for the third shift, which is 11:45 to 8 a.m. in the beginning year. We've added an article on longevity pay to be paid on the anniversary date for full-time officers only. Someone who served 10 years is $500 a year, 15 years, $750 a year, 20 years, $1,000 per year, and 25 years, $1,250 a year. We've also included an opportunity to earn 2 wellness days per fiscal year for police officers to volunteer to receive a mental health checkup 1 or 2 times during the year, and this will be done under the same guidance as personal days. Every shift is preferred to be staffed by 2 employees of the police department, but failure to maintain minimum staffing will result in a 7% increase per hour additional pay for the employee working alone. Vacation requests will be submitted by June 1st and December 1st of every year. And that, I think, is about it. The last year of the contract, the shift differential goes to $1.25 per hour for the second shift and $1.50 per hour for the third shift. So that concludes that agreement with NEPBA Local 130. So thanks everybody for a lot of negotiating work and compromising, and it took us a while, but we got everything concluded. So thanks everybody for that.
I'll make a motion then to approve the 3 contracts that were just read, the dispatches, the police, and Randall Kemp, highway superintendent.
Okay, could I have a second, please?
A second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, very good. So we will proceed to sign all of those and consider them finalized. So thank you very much for that. And I think for tonight, we only have one other small item, maybe under the town administrator. Ed, do you have something you'd like to bring up for our attention?
Yes, please. We're getting short on time. Just wanted to report back on the Route 10 sidewalk. And Stantec did reach out to Mass DOT, and they will not allow a guardrail at that particular position. So, that being said, we basically have 3 different, shall we say, paths at this point in time, and I'm looking for some direction. We can do nothing. We can have that sidewalk pushed back into the tree, maybe about a foot or so, which could cause issues for the tree roots and the sidewalk itself as the tree roots push it up. Could look to see to have the tree actually removed, which would require a public hearing, and push the sidewalk back that way. Or the last option, which Rick just brought up, this morning was he could reach out to Mass DOT and see if they would allow us to put stanchions in that area. Stanchions are kind of like a plastic pole, which are, you know, very flexible. You know, if a vehicle, you know, hit them or whatever, they basically bend over, come back up. Doesn't give a solid surface if you know, worried about a, you know, young bicyclist or whatever. You know, tumbling is not going to stop them from falling out in the street, but that's basically our 4 options at this point in time. And, you know, since we're supposed to wrap this up by the end of June, just looking for some thoughts of how the board might think about seeing how we might move forward with that.
Randall, do you or does Ian have a recommendation on that? Are you concerned at all?
I'm not that
Okay.
concerned. We have other sidewalk like right down here where there's kind of jogs in it. Not such a pronounced one, but I mean, I've walked it, and if you can envision, there is a curve, but if you're the only one on the sidewalk, you can almost cut the curve, so it's not as it's not like you have to follow the contour of the curve. Yeah, it's-
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, I think the challenge, certainly the idea of, you know, the idea of cutting down a tree, I think would be hard to convince people of, number one, but the cost, I think, would be probably not terribly worth it. I guess I would be worried about moving the sidewalk any closer to the tree, because I think right now, we may be risking any, you know, in future years, we're probably risking the roots doing something to upheave the asphalt that's there. So I don't know that it would really behoove us to move it any closer and incur that expense to do that. And I gather the notion of what you had told me, Ed, the notion of the guardrail too really wouldn't do that much even if they'd approved it, because it's also got very sharp edges, so it wouldn't really solve our problem. I assume there's no guardrails that are kind of plastic, although now what you've introduced is a little bit of a different idea.
Yeah.
Something that is not so sharp edged at least. Yeah. So what do these stanchions kind of look like? Does it look like a guardrail, or is it?
Flag
No.
that bends?
No,
No.
it's just a.
Are they
I
like
think they look like.
fiberglass posts?
Yeah, they're poles. They're
They
about
might
this big.
violate the historic district bylaw anyway.
Yeah, we might have to look that by historical.
Find you a picture quickly. Hang on a second.
Because I think the other thing you had talked about
I
was.
mean, they come in a couple different varieties. There's round ones, the ones I probably see more of are, they kind of start round at the bottom, but then they kind of flatten out. Let's say,
I'm envisioning like they have them on Route 2 where it goes from 2 lanes to opposing lanes.
Yep.
They're not like a round bollard kind of thing. per
Not
se.
the ones I'm
No.
thinking of, but
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I wasn't in the office
Yeah,
today, so.
I mean, anything in plastic sounds like it would be not quite as hard on your head if you had to take a fall, I don't know. But I
But
don't,
would it provide any
would it provide any difference?
stopping power at all anyway?
Yeah.
So the only thing I'm concerned about is kids going out into the street. So if they bump into something, that would deter that from happening. It's not gonna do anything to stop a vehicle if a
No.
vehicle were coming that way.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and it just seems like, I don't know.
Well, I think if you and Ian are comfortable with it, then I
I
am.
won't speak for Ian, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I look at it this way. There are driveways, intersections, all of these other hazards
Yeah.
that a parent would need to keep control
Yeah,
of their
right.
kids, so. Yeah, just focusing on the one corner, there's so many other things out there that
Yeah.
you gotta keep an eye on your kids.
Right, well, and and really, I think we've been more concerned about little kids on, toddlers on their bikes and not being terribly steady. But,
Right.
any, medium-aged child is probably a bit more responsible and manageable in terms of, knowing how to handle their bike a little bit better. And certainly, I've seen adults riding their bikes and it's not been a big
Right.
deal there. So it's really been a concern just in terms of, how can we be sure that we've done everything we need to do for safety, that's all.
Understood. We have similar situations, again, like I said, if you look right down in front of Conan Park, I think it's at Conan Park, the sidewalk takes a little jog around one of the telephone poles down there.
Okay.
So we definitely have, this is probably the highest volume road in town, but
Yeah.
if you think about the Glendale.
Those are more portable, but that's basically the idea.
On Glendale Road, which is the road we just upgraded to DOT spec on the sidewalk is directly right on the road.
Yeah.
It is.
So,
I see what you mean.
Kinda crazy
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
It's not gonna do a lot.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't provide
just
a whole,
adding-
it's more of a warning sign
It's
than
more of
any,
a warning.
it's not a
Yeah.
protection
Warning.
whatsoever, yeah.
Ed, was the communication you got from Mass DOT in writing?
The communication went to Stantec.
Our engineer people.
Okay, I just think we should have a copy of that in writing, I think that would be wise.
Just to have it on file,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, what does anybody think? Do you want to have them look at this option, or just say that we've done
I
what
don't
we
think
can
any of
do?
the
I don't-
options look
yeah.
or sound very good to me.
Okay. Then I think we will keep it the way it is and say that we have looked into everything we can think of, and we just hope that people are going to use it responsibly, and you know, and they shouldn't be racing up and down there anyway. I mean, I think it's more just a steadiness of people on their bikes, that's all.
Right.
So hopefully, little kids aren't going without their parents for a few times until they get used to the route anyway, and that will be under their supervision, so. Okay, well, we've tried to look at different options, and I think that's probably the best we can do, so.
Yeah, I give you
Thanks
credit.
for checking into that. This could provide at least sort of a flag type warning, but other than that, it doesn't really do anything for safety, I don't think. And we probably, we're not adding to the atmosphere there, or the scenic view by having
No.
these funny colored pylons out there. So, okay, so with that, is everybody agreed? We just leave it the way it is?
Yep.
Okay, all right. Anything else? Any other business that can't wait until the 21st? If not, can I have a motion to adjourn tonight?
So moved.
All right,
I'll second it.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all right, we
Aye.
are adjourned at about 7:33. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right, let me just get
Thank you all.
my little button.
thank you.
Yeah.
I had a few